Hello everyone and welcome back to Greater Persia. So, we did just win our war against the Iraq, as it is now part of the Greater New Persian Empire. And we did leave the last episode on the note of what focus to pick. So I think we'll hold off on this one, on this line, because these two are really just stepping stones to tech sharing, and we don't have 50 factories just yet. And also we don't have a faction, but that will be something to worry about later on. Now, secret weapons, I think, will be the thing that interests me most, because we really want to get the decryption advantage over our enemies, because that would allow us to get a significant advantage in those land battles. And that would be very nice. Alright, so other than that, let's just keep on rolling through this. We're still justifying on Saudi Arabia. Free civilian factories on the go. Let's keep them busy. We once again speak against Saudi Arabia. Alright, that's our infantry equipment done. Now, I think I'll just... I'll just hold off for a couple days and then do the industry research afterwards. I think we'll even be able to get our industrial concern here. That's you, and then the 1st of January 39. We don't really need factory repair speed just yet. So I think I go with these. And as soon as support weapons 2 is finished, we'll also take the other one for production efficiency. Because I feel like staying up to date with all these things is gonna be the recipe for success for the nation, any which way you put it. Right, we're still getting new guys into the army to the point where we can keep on training more. Right, that's our secret weapons focus done. Like I said, research slots number 2 and another one from tech sharing would be nice, but we're not quite up to 50 factories yet. Nuke effort isn't something we need to be doing just yet, so let's get some army effort on the go. It would also tie quite nicely with the next army doctrine tech we're about to take. Alright, so in other news, the German Reich claims Memel, which is up here. With German forces on their border poised to attack, Lithuania has given in to a German ultimatum demanding the surrender of the old Prussian territory of Memel. It was passed to Lithuania by the Treaty of Versailles, but has now been reintegrated into the region of Ostpreußen. Have we yet reached the extent of German territorial ambitions in Europe? Experts are indeed doubtful. And another batch of maps made obsolete. That's very sad. So the Civil War is still raging, it seems. But yeah, there's really no question who's going to win this. It's just a matter of time. But Nationalist Spain is fighting back valiantly. I suppose they still have those volunteers going for them. Yeah, volunteers from the German Reich and from Italy. Wonder if we should put forth some more civilian factories here. I think the answer to that is yes. I think we're about good to go when production is concerned for now. Alright, so that was support weapons. I think we'll... No, we won't wait. that was military army doctrine that I was waiting for. So now advanced machine tools it is. And now very shortly, or very shortly after mobile defense is done, we'll have our army effort focus, which will then allow us to get the next land doctrine research with a 50% discount. Very nice. So all of you onto the main army. How long until we have that claim? The 18th of April. Now, so far as I can tell, the only real population center in Saudi Arabia is their capital. So we'll see. We'll see what we get there. Alright, that's that. Let's wait for the focus real quick. Alright, and that's the next expansion of the Germans. The fate of Czechoslovakia. German troops have crossed into Bohemia and Moravia, ostensibly to restore order to the regions in the wake of the collapsing Czechoslovakian government. In Prague, the occupying forces announced the creation of an autonomous protectorate within the German Reich. With German support, Slovakia has been declared independent under the leadership of Joseph Tiso. The nation of Czechoslovakia is no more. There he is. So much for peace. There you go. So we're drawing closer and closer to the Germans declaring on Poland and thus sparking the war. But I don't quite know if that's... No, Poland isn't even guaranteed by the UK, so... I don't know if they can join the Allies if war tension is below 50%. We'll see about that. We will see about that. Alright, so... we now have the national focus for army effort. Question would then be, where do we go? I think, yeah, just another another bit of doctrine effort wouldn't go amiss. Although, let's see. Down here, so artillery-wise, we're really going for line artillery. So let's keep going with that. Let's also get some more doctrine. Oh, let's get some more doctrine? I don't quite know. I think we need to work on our aviation. Because pretty soon, I suppose, we'll be meeting someone who has an air force. Well, maybe not in the region, but I'm very, very certain that at some point we will. Zok submits to Italy. That would be about Albania. Yeah, an ultimatum has been delivered to the Albanian government by Italian diplomats, demanding that they submit to complete military occupation. King Zok has abdicated after realizing the futility of resistance, and Albania will now be ruled in a personal union under King Victor Emmanuel III. Italy looks to the Balkans. Indeed they do. Alright, justification for conquering Najd, which was called Najd in Europa Universalis for some reason. Well, I don't know what the correct name is, but one of them seems to be a little wrong. Or maybe it's just the spelling evolved over time. Right. Yes, I don't think there is anything else left to do here. But curiously, if I hold off with my declaration, all of them have... Oh, that's interesting. I never noticed that, but I suppose... Yeah, so we can still see the national focus, the current national focus effort of Saudi Arabia, because presumably they don't have enough encryption yet, but all of these countries now have unknown focuses. So that's rather sad. But I would suppose that the Germans are, if not with this focus, definitely with the next one, going to work on Poland and demand Danzig, which most certainly the Poles will refuse to give, and then war will break out. Alright, anyway, I think, yeah, we will just declare this war. There's no reason to hold off. And now this will be just an instance of us running through this with the battle plan active. Will be a good demonstration of what these things can do. And I think the next target should then be Afghanistan. Yeah, the Turks, we still need to build up a bit until we can take them head on. If we had a lot of air support, I would feel a lot more confident, but alas we don't. So I don't quite want to run into this wall of soldiers. Afghanistan, however, quite reachable. I will see. I think some periods of peace in between these wars don't quite go amiss, so let's just roll with it. Yeah, so this is now just the automatic mode. I'm not doing anything here. This is just the what's it called? The battle plan executing. And in this we can just sit back and relax and let our troops do the work. Alright, we can once again modify our government. I think it's about time to get an aircraft designer. And I think I want to go for a light aircraft, yes, because fighter agility, it seems, is a very strong stat, because it allows you to retain air superiority a lot easier. And that's mainly because the game doesn't allow... So say for instance I had 2,000 fighters in Saudi Arabia, and Saudi Arabia itself had only 100. I couldn't just do 20-to-1 engagements. It's always limited, or it was supposed to be limited. I don't know if they changed it since that particular development diary, but they designed it to be limited to either 1-on-1 or 2-on-1 engagements to more closely mirror the historical reality of that. So yeah, we'll see how that pans out. So we've concentrated industry going. Other than that, yeah, I think it's about time we got some real decryption on the go. Yeah, I don't think I want to invest into this too much, although at some point it just backs the manual intervention here. And I also wonder, yeah, let's do just a little bit of micromanagement then. To free up some of those troops. There's a lot of redeployment going on here, but none of which is actually going to the correct states. So there's still quite a bit of work to be done on those. So I think it would be very easy to do 1-on-1 engagements with these. So we shall do that. Now, all of you don't really need to do anything. You just need to move in. Now we have lost a grand total of 730 men in this war, so I think that's quite a good testament to how well we're doing here. That's quite a bit too many. So we need a bit of steel. We shall acquire. We don't need anything else. So yeah, I think it is about time. Although I wonder, I will let this war run its course because I want to know if I can actually demand all of what I want to demand. Alright, let's start a pincer move on the capital. That'll also mean we'll want to attack here. Alright, that's some aviation done. And Italy joined the... Oh! Alright, there's a lot of stuff going on here. Let's first focus on fighters. And then let's read the news. The Paradoxian World News here. So first of all, France bans communism. The Édouard Daladier cabinet have decreed the dissolution of Parti Communiste Français. Ever since Soviet Russia signed the non-aggression pact with Nazi Germany, there have been talks, ever since it's apparently been happening just on the same day, there have been talks of proscribing communism in France. The decree was instated following the agreement between the two nations for the partition of Poland. Édouard Daladier took the opportunity as support for a ban rose, and even leftist papers started advocating for the abolition of Parti Communiste Français. So there's no communist party, apparently, so there shouldn't be, in France. And that's because, quite historically, the Germans sided with the Russians on the matter of Poland. So diplomats from Germany and the Soviet Union concluded what observers are describing as a historic agreement today with the signing of the Molotov-Ribbentrop Pact, named after German Foreign Minister Joachim von Ribbentrop and his Soviet counterpart. I'm not going to try to pronounce that. This non-aggression pact stipulates that neither side will ally itself to nor aid an enemy of the other. Foreign diplomats warn that this treaty effectively gives Germany a free hand to wage war in Europe without having to fear Soviet intervention. Well, that was the whole point of the agreement from the Germans' perspective. Alright, so let's just do some reinforcement here. Pin you the best we can. The rest of you can just pile on. Yeah, once we take their capital, there will be nothing left of their fighting spirit. So no need to take any unnecessary casualties here. No, we're up to 1,000 soldiers lost. That isn't a bad toll at all. Alright, so we took their capital and they passed, and I would have thought that we got this in the back, but apparently we don't. So let's just take this, draw our next front line all the way down there, and go. And in the meantime, we can deal with all this. I'll still need more artillery. Yeah, I think I want to go with the areas in which we already have bonuses going on right now. Which will also mean air superiority, air doctrine before too long. And they have a new capital. Let's take it. Right, so we have decryption. That's nice. Let's get some air doctrine on the go. Now what do we want to do here? There's strategic destruction, which is long-range bombing. We have battlefield support, which is essentially dive bombing on the battlefield. Then there's operational integrity, which is a mixture of the both of them. So I think we'll just go with battlefield support, because I think that's the most valuable, helping to advance the front line. Because at some point you'll want to take over those factories you're bombing, and I'd rather do that than destroying all of them. Alright, why... No. No, don't do that. What I would rather have you do is take some of that territory back there. Wonder why it is that you insist so much on fighting there. Alright, once again we did take a capital of theirs, but they're still not quite there yet. Let's assign that additional factory we just acquired and keep going for a minute. And that should do it. That's the last population center they revealed to us. And now let's wait for the end of the day. There we go. So, yeah, I can still take all states, curiously. It doesn't really do anything. Maybe it sparks a little more war tension, but who am I to care? So yeah, we're gonna take all of those states, and that's it. And that's that war done. We're now close to 50%, but not quite there. And still these territories are now core territory to us. So there won't be any resistance to us in those states, which is quite nice. Alright, so yeah, I think that's going to be it for this one. In the next episode we'll take a look at who we integrate into the Great Persian Empire next. So yes, until then, and as always, thanks a lot for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. I've been Discryant, and I shall see you soon.